What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Call to Action podcast, Call to Action Free Agent Signing Special. I'm so excited to do this. I know you are all excited to do this. I'm here with two of my favorite co-hosts of all time. On the left, right of me, that side, we got the one and only Kelsey Kins. Kelsey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I am so excited to talk about all the events that happened today. As soon as they were popping up on my feed, I'm like, I can't wait till tonight. This is going to be amazing.
And of course, we also have below me down there the other favorite host of mine that's not named Danielle Ramirez. Alex Mack, how are you?
I'm doing pretty awesome. I can't wait to talk about some of these additions. There's like when I was like folding boxes in our house, and I was like, I saw one of the free agent pictures, and I literally screamed at Lucas. And I was like, and he's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Yeah, that was like 20 minutes ago." I was like, "Ah!" You didn't tell me.
Well, we started this idea last time. We were out on the call live. We started talking about everything. Then we started talking about the possibilities. We're like, you know what? Let's just freaking do it. Let's just go live. We have chilled action later on tonight. We'll just do a quick, like 1 hour or whatever segment. We'll get through this. And I just got more and more excited as the day went on. Just more and more names get dropped. More and more scenarios get dropped. The IG training looking, Star Wars training both looking a little clearer. I think we just get right into it. What do you think?
Please.
Oh, yeah. So much to talk about. Let's get
Do you
into
have
it.
questions, people? If you have questions, you know, you can always do the super chats in there.
Okay, nothing right now, but let's just go ahead and jump to it, man. No more waiting. No more waiting.
Right. All right, let's do the first one then. Let's start with the biggest one, the one that didn't drop on the Christian special. Holy crap.
I'm so excited.
Kevin Smith joining the Quirky Mercs. I am so stoked for that. I think the only person who might be more stoked about this is Rachel Silvestrini.
Oh, she probably had a heart attack today. She's probably
She's
had an
still
aneurysm. She just passed out.
This is he's one of my favorite directors, and he's just a wealth of knowledge. I can't wait to see what he has to bring. Personality-wise, he's huge. He's got a lot of knowledge. Whether he can remember it all, we'll have to find out. If he's got the recall, it's a little question I have about him. But I think he's going to fit in perfectly with that team as well. I mean, him and Coy Jandreau together, the energy alone. Come on now.
Perfect manager.
They can probably launch a space shuttle. The amount of energy that's like brewing between them, honestly, I can't wait. I can't picture a better competitor manager duo. Also, and I'm really kind of curious to see if Kevin Smith can put Kevin Smith movies as a slice of his strength. Just saying, is that possible? Is that allowed?
That technically could be. Although I honestly think Rachel Silvestrini,
athlete to actor, you know.
I actually think Rachel Silvestrini might be able to beat Kevin Smith on the Kevin Smith wheel.
We love you, Kevin Smith, 100%.
But actually, it's funny. It actually reminds me in a way like that. It's almost like he doesn't want to take his own slice, because if he takes his own slice and loses, there's nothing more embarrassing than that. I mean, come on.
If anything, he'd be like, I made so many fans here, so you know. That's good.
So that was the first big drop. Obviously, I can't see him being used during any of the tournaments at the point. He's not an IG guy. I mean, he could be an IG guy, but I don't think you waste him yet. You want to build up to him. You want him to be a live event kind of guy.
He's an event. He's special. He needs to have a big show. So right. Yeah, I agree.
I think you're going to build up. I could see a big match. Of course, we already know what the big match was touted as at one point before. We were kind of talked about here and there. I mean, might as well go right into the next one, because that is the other big, huge signing that was dropped at the end. The Ayatollah of rock and rolla. He's putting the Schmodown on the list. A little bit of the bubbly Chris Jericho, Y2J coming to save the Schmodown. That is great news. That is something I can't wait to see. And going on the Rockstars, that's even better for me.
Him and Roxy together, I just can't. It's just gonna be so awesome.
I'm really curious to see how that happened. I am not a wrestling person. I did not grow up with wrestling or know a lot of the characters or anything. So all I know is like I kind of discovered Jericho very, very recently, only in the past several weeks, to be completely honest.
Okay.
Because of this process, because of this conversation, so I looked him up and everything. So I don't really know a lot of the history and hype surrounding him outside of like what Rachel and a lot of these people have told me. So I'm kind of I don't know a lot of his history or anything when it comes to wrestling. So I'm kind of see how
all you need to know is that low key is probably considered one of the top 5 wrestlers of all time.
What does that have to do with movie trivia?
As far it's not his movie trivia. He's been in movies as well. He's been in Kevin Smith
That's cool. I'm
movies.
excited to see the promos, but
Personality wise, and also the fact that you can put him in with anybody and he can teach anybody attitude. He can teach anybody promotional. He is a. I mean,
yes.
If everybody isn't clamoring to be near him to just get a bit of his knowledge about this kind of business, the entertainment business, you're missing out. And
promos galore. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the promos for him?
I want to see Chris Jericho versus Andrew Ghai at some point because that would be awesome. My own personal thing. My own personal thing. But Jericho's going to come in. He's going to have his own music because you don't have to worry about copyright. It's his own music.
It's his music. I'm good, man.
And he's going to have the like I said, we're going to talk about this guy later on too. I'll tell you this guy later on. He's going to come in. He's going to mispronounce everybody's names. It's going to be so great. So I really think. Obviously, it's talked about it's going to be Kevin Smith versus Chris Jericho is what everybody wanted to see. That's what they all teased up against each other. I think we're going to be building towards that. I think that could be a spectacular match. That could be like a big WrestleMania type, big event match. And there's nothing else to see that on the live stage. I mean, I am so excited about both of this. What do you guys think anymore? Any more thoughts on Jericho going on there?
Like Alex, I have never followed wrestling. I have recently tried to get more into it just because of my love of Schmodown. I know that's where a lot of his roots are from, so I need to get a little bit more history in that. But I have heard Jericho's name for a very long time. Watching Christian on any show, pretty much whatsoever, his name has come up. His name's come up in a lot of things, and so I've heard good things. So knowing that he is now a Schmodown competitor, a pro, I'm both so excited.
All I know, another person who's going to be very excited about this has got to be Nerd Chronic. The promos that he's going to be able to cut with his name alone, that is going to be a thing. That's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. So kidding.
Agent Lancaster. Kevin Smith is silent Bob for a full match whiteboarded for answers rounds to 2A. I love it. I love it. Let's make that work.
Can we make that happen?
Can we make that happen? That'd be pretty great there. That's it. There he is in the chat. Eric asked, that's going to be such a fun time. Let me tell you. So, but, continuing on. Well, what do you think? Where do you think Jericho has knowledge, but I think he's going to be a teams player myself, team player and a singles player. If he gets to more than one match against Kevin Smith, I'd like to see him in the teams because he could. Again, he's someone if he can put him with the right person, he can be that Andrew Ghai was to the other team. That guy who can just be the focus, be the loudmouth, get in people's heads. You have a silent assassin partner who has more of the trivia knowledge. I don't know what his trivia knowledge really is, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I don't think he does know.
He could be, honest to God, like a serious, cinephile, and we just have no clue. I mean, I had no clue that Brittany Young went to film school until she mentioned it during our match. So I was like, what? So we might find, just like a lot of these competitors, they might have some serious hidden talents.
He did, and and even in his little promo video he pulled the William Hookins reference on us, and that's a true thing. Like that's not exactly well known to the common public. He was in Star Wars and in Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I mean, right there, he's showing his knowledge right off the bat. So I love that. This is humor too. So this is big news. Either way, the biggest thing about it is this is huge for the Schmodown.
This is so huge.
Kevin Smith, a big deal, but I guess
millions of Twitter followers. They're going to be trashing out. They're going to be sharing out the Schmodown stuff, and they're going to be on. I mean, can you imagine Chris Jericho bringing his friends over to watch the Schmodown now? He gets an AEW. Cody Rhodes has been talked about. I mean, this leads to so many possibilities of crossover.
It really does.
And celebrity things. This is just any way you shake it. Great news all around. So congratulations to Roxy, to Coy, to Christian, and the rest of the league as well. I'm
so proud of you.
We're all here on the ground floor, and that's what we have.
I am excited to buy tickets. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and that's what Christian likes to hear.
Yeah, that's what Christian's looking for.
Than we already do. Let's be honest.
And then, the signings didn't stop there. We got Doug Benson. Doug Benson is a well-known comedian, Comedy Central. He has his own podcast, Doug Loves Movies. It's no surprise to anybody who follows him a little bit that he signed with The Usual Suspects. Sam Levine has been on his podcast before. He's very knowledgeable. That's another interesting player that we're going to have. Yes, Tim, some stuff did happen today. Yes, Tim, some stuff did. I like the fact that The Usual Suspects, they had 4 slots and they filled them, and they had to fill them, and they filled them pretty well. I think when we see everybody else, we'll talk about it. But what do you think about Doug Benson signing?
he's another person I didn't know as well, but after seeing his name pop up, I'm like, who is that? So I looked him up, and he has got a great body of work. I could definitely see why his history would make him be good at movie trivia. Plus, also his character work. Saw some clips of him. Like he's gonna be funny. He's gonna be engaging on screen. He is also well known, so that will help get people to come and check out the movie trivia showdown. I think he is a great person for us to have join for sure.
Absolutely, Alex.
I totally agree. I mean, everything you said is 100% true. I do think I did look up a handful of interviews with him, and he does drop a lot of references here and there referring to movies like outside of like comedy. He would make a random reference to like Usual Suspects, or no pun intended, or like a random one regarding like Citizen Kane, or like the Before franchise, and I'm like, okay, we might have a little cinephile on our hands, so I'm excited to see if it's going to be able to translate. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, here we are. Next, we'll talk about the next big signing. This is the one that was been talked about a lot. I mean, she's been around everywhere on SEN, everybody's wondering where she's going. She was contacted by pretty much everyone in the league, supposedly. Well, she made her decision, and it wasn't the one that anybody really expected. A lot of people were expecting swag with Winston. A lot of people were expecting the Den to follow her working with Ben Goddard. But no, she goes with the champions. And she's going for the gold. With the
greedy for those belts.
Greedy for the gold. And not only that, but she's got a possible partner already in play. The Barbarian Craig Gaynor's already made it clear that he would team with her. I think this could be gold for her if it's done right. We did have a conversation off screen, Alex, where you were saying you're not sure it's the right fit for her.
Yeah, I am one of those people. I don't feel like it's a right fit, just because I feel like I would love to see her really sit down and have a really great mentor-mentee relationship. And obviously, you are filled with a faction with nothing but champions and, with people at your beck and call. But at the same time, I do know they're such busy people, and they all have their own belts and everything to worry about. I mean, Dan Merle recently, he was like, I just don't have time to really focus on participating in the IG tournament on top of everything going on and, wanting to keep my belt. So completely understandable. So it's a lot of things you have to juggle on top of being able to successfully mentor a rookie. It's just a lot to have on your plate. So that's why I mentioned.
Okay. Kelsey, what were your thoughts?
I was surprised. I didn't think about her going to Finstock Exchange. I did kind of assume she was going to go to Swagger the Den. But as soon as I saw it pop up, I'm like, okay, I can see that. She has been hanging around. I've seen her, showing on the Action Guys show and things like that. She's getting to know the exchange pretty well. I think it's going to be a good fit. And I think she is going to be awesome. If she does pair up with Craig, the Barbarian, I think they're going to be a solid, interesting team. And I think it was a good move for her.
I will say that I don't really know the extent of her knowledge yet. I mean, she got a lot of hype because she's been around.
She's got a lot of hype.
She seems to be knowledgeable. Christian even said it today that he doesn't know how much she knows. She knows she talks about movies a lot. She has good surface knowledge. It seems like she knows about it. As far as in-depth trivia questions go, I don't really know much about her. But I do think that the Finstock Exchange could be the right place for her. I will give the caveat that there's the danger that she could be lost in the shuffle when you have a faction within a faction. Really, you have the Horseman within the faction. The Horseman is the one you're going to count on, but the Barbarian is there also making his moves. So if he can be kind of like the conduit to the rest of the group, you're surrounded by champions. You're surrounded by some of the best players in the game. If you're going to learn the game, you get to talk to the game, talk to people involved in the game who are the best at it. And they're the best strategies, some of the best trivia knowledge. It's a place where you could learn everything you need to learn and be successful. And if you want gold, you want to hook your card up to somebody who, like the Barbarian, who has shown already that he is a killer. I mean, he hasn't missed anything yet. I mean, I've seen trivia, not even just on the matches, but some other trivia stuff I've seen him in, he just doesn't seem to ever miss. So that's the kind of guy you want to hook your card onto. So he can carry the load, and if there's holes that Sabrina has, he can help and cover those. I think it could be potentially a great move. I do get your point, Alex. I do think that
I just don't want her to be lost in the shuffle where all the attention is given to founding fathers and Dan and Ben and everything. You know, I just don't want that to happen to her. If she was in a team like the Den or the Quirky Mercs or something along those lines, I don't feel like she would have been lost. I feel like she would have given much more active attention. That's all. But, you know, you never know. This could be like the big game changing, you know, aspect for her. So, you know, she wants that gold. You know, it is a great pick though. Can't deny that.
The good thing and the possible thing about going there is that as far as getting lost in the shuffle goes, because she is so involved in the space, it's hard for her to get lost because she is there all the time. Some other people in there are, if you're not there all the time, then it's easier to get lost. She has that starting point where she's already just as well known as almost all of them on there as well. Not well known as far as trivia goes, but her presence is almost as up as all of them. She's on every show. So she's there. She can't hardly get lost in shuffle that way. And I kind of feel
RB3 is always there, and yeah, he's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle because he lost his first match.
But he never had the hype because he was already known. He already knew where he was.
I feel like he was hyped a little bit.
I disagree.
I personally, but
he already had a match with that because he already had a couple matches before.
Yeah, but he had a lot of new attention, especially coming into this one because he's been talking about how he's been studying like crazy actively, and you know, it's a whole new league. And last time he was in a match was like forever and a day ago, it feels like. But again, that being said, it's neither here or there. We're just going to wait and see what happens. I'm excited to see her, you know, actually play though, regardless.
Yeah, so, I'm definitely interested too.
Awesome. Yeah, I love her.
All about her now. So I guess from what I got, she's going to be singles and teams. That's what I think. She's not IG. She's not going to be Star Wars yet, as far as I know. So we'll go with that. I do want to add this. Real quick, the most disappointing thing about today was that nobody picked the Cinefanatics.
Yeah, we were all very, 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 very upset about that.
Our fellow reactors, who we are very appreciative of, watch out for them in 2021. They're gonna make their mark with them. So, and Chandra's saying, she's like, look at that, Chandra likes your setup.
It's just literally my wall. My basement wall. It's not a backdrop. It is. I was gonna get a backdrop thing and everything, and I realized when I just came down here, I was like, I don't really need one actually. Never mind. I'm good.
Don't give up the secrets.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Don't give up the secrets. Don't want to know how the sausage is made. But another one, I'll say this too before we get into the next one. Jonathan Harris was a name that was touted that wasn't picked up. So that's.
I was surprised about that one.
Very surprised. But I actually really kind of wanted him to get picked personally. I thought he's definitely, he's like secretly really great.
I think he has a lot of potential too. He never got a chance to show it. But either way, let's move on now from Sabrina. The other big news at the point that Christian started with. Well, this was, let me find the right picture here. It's down here. I'm moving down here. Where's the picture? Put it on the, oh, there it is. Molly Damon to the usual suspects. And that is huge. That is very much huge. Roxy said she courted her initially, but they said that they didn't want to be on the same team as her husband. Alex and Molly didn't want to, and what is Roxy going to do say about that? No, you will be.
I don't blame them.
I don't either. So in other case, now it's smart because the suspects need a Star Wars player. They traded away. I have a feeling this was known pretty well. I think this is why Sam took the idea to ship Knapsack out, because he kind of knew he could get Molly Damon. I think it's going to be a great match. I think she's underrated. She had her one match in in Chicago where she played well, but she fell short.
Yeah. If that's your first match playing in front of like 1,000 people, however many people it was, that's a hard first time playing live. I do not think that's a good example of what she will be like as a player. If you like watch Star Wars Experience like that, she knows just as much, maybe even more than Alex. So she's going to be awesome. I think once she gets really playing regularly in the studio or through virtually, I think she's really going to shine. So I'm excited.
Not to mention, she lost to Alex by only a few points. She went down to the wire against him. And so I definitely think that, we're going to see her do really well. We're going to see her do okay.
And you don't think Molly knows what Alex knows and what Alex's weaknesses are? Molly studies with her.
He's having a hard time memorizing Battleships,
Hmm.
planets, quotes. I don't know.
Of course.
Battleships in space. I don't know.
Of course, that's assuming that he actually has
I
any
don't know.
weaknesses. I don't know if he actually has any weaknesses.
That is
Right.
But that is.
It's impossible to know.
It is. So that was a huge get. I'm happy for her to be in the league. It seems like that could be very much so fun. So, moving on, let's see what else we got here. Some of the legacy players making comebacks, the ones that haven't been around for a while. We got Scott Mance coming back into the league, joining with RMB and the Burning Drugs. That's an interesting one. I think Mance is a very interesting pick. I don't know how rusty he is. He's been a long time. I mean, he knows his movie release dates. We know that. We know he hates Cameron Diaz. But beyond that,
bitch. I'm sorry. I apologize. I shouldn't say that. That's what I was going to say. I apologize.
So does he have
dramatic when we're talking about Scott Mance and Cameron Diaz? I apologize though.
Now he has
Cameron Diaz.
He had a lot of potential. He definitely has a lot of potential in teams. There's always a potential he could go in IG. He's a big Star Trek guy. I don't know if that's a thing that's on his table. I think if it was a couple of years ago, he definitely would, but IG has tightened up, shall we say. So I don't know if that's the case. But either way, when you're looking for someone to round out your team, like the Drews were, it's never a bad idea to have a solid veteran piece who can it's kind of like that pitcher in baseball. I'm going to say a baseball reference again. He can log innings for you. He's not going to win the belt for you championship wise anytime soon, but he'll give you some good points. He'll get some wins for you. I think that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah. I'm definitely happy to see Mance back. I love Mance. I think he is really fun and a sweet person, and I always enjoy seeing him on screen. I am interested. Yeah, I am interested that he got picked on the Droogs, though. I'm interested to see what that dynamic's going to be like, because R&B is a personality, to put it lightly.
I mean, exactly. Honestly, I don't feel like him drafting Scott, I think, is a very interesting pick because he is very focused on he's great. We love him on the screen. He's not going to get you points though. And that's totally fine. He'll kind of work your way up, he definitely guarantee you matches. But that being said, I mean, he hasn't participated in Schmodown in a very long time.
Really?
And, especially in Schmodown years, it's changed drastically.
Right.
So I don't know how he would do, but him choosing it is, excited to see him play by the end of the day. There's enough personality in the Droogs as it is. I don't think he needs another personality. I need someone to help him win points. I don't think he needs another personality, if that makes sense.
It does. But of the free agents available, at least he's someone who has played before. Mm-hmm. He has won. He has won before.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, at least he's got that basis. So.
When he's good, he's great. When he's bad, he gets on his head.
Oh, he is someone who can get rattled, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Especially now, there's a lot of rattling in general. So,
I mean, who do you think, man? We could team up Ben to somebody. I mean, looking at their roster, they already have the Deep 13, but you could team them up with a bunch of different people. If Warfather's going to stay in singles, we could team them up with Christian would love that. He would love that, let me tell you. Maybe Mance with Jada Parama. I mean, that could be the Hurricane. Yeah. That could be a good team up as well. I mean, a lot of potential there, but it'd be interesting to see how R&B works through that. So
I'm interested to see his decisions he makes from here, because his decisions up to this point have been very interesting.
yeah, that's very true.
I'm really curious to see if he even wants to, if he's going to be actively studying or not. If that's going to depending on what kind of competitor he is. Mm-hmm. I remember when he was paired up with was it Sean Gerber?
Amen. Jason Inman?
No,
it was Team Truck.
No, it wasn't. No. It was like an anarchy tournament.
Yeah.
When he did that, I mean, I thought it was Sean Gerber he was paired up with, but Scott, he was like, yeah, you're underestimating us and everything. And he totally misunderstood the idea of decades. And he's like, for me, classics was this point, and they said classics at that point. And so again, there's a few things that we're kind of missing. So so I'm kind of curious to see that translate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely to see.
Yeah. I mean, the post interview said classics wasn't.
Yes, he was with Gerber and Anarchy.
So I was like, few decades up. Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't sure what team. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, that's good to remember. Good memory. That's better than I have. So, all right, that's good where we are with men. The other legacy player who was picked up kind of surprised me a little bit. It kind of surprised me that she was going to make a comeback. I didn't see it happening. I thought she would stick with the exhibitions, but Perry Nemiroff joined the C2A Breaks. I like this. I like this. She is a solid player. She gets rattled a lot. That's why she left, because she couldn't stand losing. So she lost a couple times, and then that was why she just couldn't do it anymore. If she can get that under control, then I think, and she can get with somebody who can support her and make her take her that extra yard, I think she could be a solid dark horse type pickup.
100%. Again, similar to Scott, when she's good, she's great. When she's bad, she gets in her head. But again, that was a very long time ago, so we never know what she's going to be this season around. Not to mention, being on a team with like mentors and everything, she thrives in that environment, I think. At least I like to think.
She does have, like we're actually already seeing in the chat, she does have that connection with Haley Fouch. So that would be, I don't know, but I wonder if it's too much of the same knowledge or not. And sometimes
yeah, they do. I think a similar,
very similar. Yeah.
Mindset.
Horror, thriller, action, adventure.
So I wonder, I'm going to throw this one out there if it could work. Perry and Tim Franco.
I don't know enough about Tim Franco, to be honest.
Tim Franco is a stud. I got to tell you. He hasn't played much because he lives in Arizona and he doesn't get out there, but he knows his stuff. And I think he could cover anything that any of the holes that Perry would have, maybe. It could be a potential. I know it's hard to team up with somebody who's in a different city. That's always a tough part. That's why Tim has always had some issues with that. But he did get to team with Stacey Howard, and he did really well with that. He does. We know. I know, Tim. I know.
We know.
You do know. He's a beast. So I would like to see. Maybe that's going to be a good partnership for him as well. It could be a good way to get them both together. I think she could get things done. I like her.
Yeah,
I like her.
I like her too, and I do agree. I think she'd be awesome with Tim. Not only knowledge-wise, I think they probably would balance each other out pretty well, but I think personality-wise, they would be fun to watch together. I think they would have a good dynamic. So I think that would be a cool matchup. But I love Perry. I am so excited to see Perry come back. Perry's a sweetheart, and I was super, and also the perfect faction for her. Just like, if anyone is quirky, it's Perry, and I mean that as the highest compliment.
I was just about to say that. The energy there is the perfect kind of mixed energy.
Perfect energy.
With Coy, with the real rejects, with Bibi. I just saw like tailor-made for each other.
She's fantastic. I feel like I feel like she's definitely gonna be it's gonna be a dark horse situation for sure. And she's more than dinosaur movies, guys. She is.
She does. She does new releases as well. Also, she's very strong. That's what she does. So I think there could be a lot of good stuff.
Again, horror thriller, action adventure. She has a horror thriller podcast, so can't really sleep on that.
All right, we'll move on to someone else who actually is in the chat. This is the first time I've seen him in the chat, so welcome. Andres Gallegos going to the dungeon.
Or as I like to call the faction of facial hair.
That's true. You're gonna have to, Andres. You're gonna have to grow your big beard out at this point. You have to drink a lot of beer, eat a lot of hamburgers to fit in with Kaiser and company.
That's all he allows you to eat in the dungeon. So heads up, your diet's gonna change.
Pretty much. I did talk to Eric. I went to Eric Chronic, who is going to be on Chill next week. Actually, we talked about him, and he gives Andres his full endorsement. He said that I talked to him and said, "Well, what is it? I don't know much about him." He guess he's a fellow editor who works with him for several years. He would have been I guess he was going to be on Eric's teammate if they had gotten drafted to Corruption. They actually like to team up. That would have been a team up. They played along with matches while they were working. And they did really well together as a team. And supposedly, he says, Eric said I could say this, he had played along with the movie release dates exhibition match from a couple years ago, and he only trailed Mance's winning score by 2. So he's got a lot of potential. He does specialize in teams and singles, and that's kind of good for Kaiser, because obviously Kaiser has the IGs already locked up. So this could be a good rookie move for Kaiser to get some more points in the regular, the general
main leagues. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Well, we can't forget that he's living in the same house as fellow dungeon person, Drew Grant, aka Video Drew. So having that kind of guidance right there, it's a huge benefit as far as character development. And she's like she was like part of one of the biggest teams that emerged from last year. So you can't really sleep on that, obviously. And I mean, there's a lot of potential with him as a whole, especially given his unique situation.
There you go. He's going to let that hair grow out. Good. We like that. We like that big bushy beard. A big bushy beard. But another question I have, this is a good question. Have you already started practicing your Dickie Do, saying Dickie Do?
Yeah, you have to perfect the Dickie Do before you do your first promo. So get practicing.
I'd love to see that. Love to see if he's going to be on any teams with anybody. The dungeon's been kind of a little bit IG focused.
It's
so
very IG heavy.
Yeah. Aside from Zipper and Drew Grant and other rookies, no pressure,
No pressure.
No pressure. But at the same time, there's a rookie tournament. There's a lot of singles and teams, leagues and everything. And definitely we need to get some points there.
Yes. Absolutely.
They need it.
The dungeon needs it.
Not more than ever.
There you go. He's going to rock the leagues. That's good. And he didn't need to practice. He could already do the Dickie Doos. That's why
for the dungeon. Awesome.
Born for the dungeon. Absolutely. So, well, we wish him the best of luck. Of course, can't wait to see what he has to do with that crew, that motley crew. Next up, we'll take this in twos because even though they're on different teams, it's definitely a story of two tales here. Robert and Vanessa, tardy to the party, tardy to the divorce lawyer at this point. It looks like this is big news. I expected them to be staying together, not having them be apart. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. I do like Robert with the Suspects, and I do like Vanessa with the Den. I think those are two spots that I actually think they went to exactly the right people if they're going to split up. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, of course, I was heartbroken when I found out they were being separated and put in different factions. But I think you're right. I think individually they fit perfectly in the factions that they got picked up with, and I think this is going to lead to some story. Maybe like, can you just like a couple like that just be against each other? I think it could be fun. So even though my heart breaks because I live late to the party together, I'm interested to see them on their own apart and see what happens. So.
Yeah,
definitely.
We can't forget, together, they defeated one of the most best teams out there that technically never won a belt with critically acclaimed on their first try, and that was a great match. It wasn't a F up. It was. They definitely are worth their salt, and I'm really kind of interested to see them, individually, because obviously being together, they live together, they are partners, they know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So I'm kind of curious if there's going to be like a little middle of the night text to their partners, be like, "Hey, I can tell Robert he's studying up on his westerns." Hey, Kate,
right?
He's studying. I'm listening on his calls in the other room.
Oh my gosh, picture a promo like that, like a cutscene of them like spying on each other while they're studying.
A little bit.
That would be a great cutscene.
Absolutely.
Amazon accounts now, so they can't see each other's viewing histories.
There you go. And there you go. Andres says, "I'm savage with Flip," and they're both talented and knowledgeable in their own right. So actually, it could be good for them. You said they had the tag team or the teams. Yes. They had high scoring teams, but they never quite made it over because of different things. Maybe getting them on their own. Maybe getting them with new team partners. They could team up. Robert could team up with good old fashioned Civil War. There you go. That's right. We here in the Action Army. We know all about Civil War. We know all about Civil War.
We're all about it.
But we do love the war, but at the same time, we want our dads to come back together.
And you know what? We should also mention
full front.
We should also mention, as the Action Army, we are very fond of Late to the Party because they were involved in probably one of the best team action intros, entrances of all time. No reacting entrance that Robert is in the background for. So thank you for that as well. We're
reacting.
Now I'm reacting. You can't be weird anymore. Oh, I just broke my heart, Jake. Just broke.
Ow! Too soon.
But let's say on the usual suspects, you could have Robert teaming up with a couple different people. Obviously, he could team up with Janine the Machine. That'd be an interesting one. He could team up with Matt Atchity. That could be a good one. He could be maybe Sabina Graves, who was also picked up. We'll talk about her soon as well. And there's a lot of different potentials. Oh, where to go? Vanessa was so stealthy with her offer from Kate. He didn't know about it until it happened. Wow.
Good job, Vanessa.
Vanessa with a killer instinct. I always said,
Yeah.
I thought that Robert would be the one with the killer instinct because Vanessa's always seems so nice. And so that maybe there's a little bit down there and she got a shadowy side to her. She got a little bit of a killer instinct. I kind of like that.
I do too.
Maybe we should be worried about her. Maybe we should be worried. But yeah, well, I think Robert's got a lot of partners potential with a lot of people and singles as well. So what do you guys think about him teaming up with anybody on the Usual Suspects?
What are the potential?
Well, I would say, you got Cameron Rice has I think it's probably not going to be Drew. I think Drew and Erwin are be together.
Yeah,
I think we kind of made that clear. So I think we got Cameron Rice, you got Janine, you got Jen Kemp, you got Matt Atchity, Molly Star Wars, and you got Sabina Graves, and then Doug Benson. You could have him team up with Doug Benson as well, the other newcomer as well.
What do we know about Cameron? Do we know?
I don't know much about him. I know he's a good photographer. I don't know more about his strengths and everything else. I don't know much more about that.
It could be very well be Janine. Honestly, I do think that Janine definitely is. She definitely does have a killer instinct. Honestly, and she's definitely doing a lot of studying. She's definitely becoming one of those multifaceted competitors in IG as well right now. So she's definitely going to be, she can focus on like those categories of movies versus like her competitor can really kind of focus on other strengths and weaknesses kind of thing. So I do feel like that would probably be a pretty solid combination right there.
Oh boy. We signed off the first thing Vanessa said was, I can't wait to take you on. I'm a little afraid.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. All right. Go, Vanessa. Can we see that match quickly? I want to see that's one of the first matches I want to see. Yeah. Go right after each other.
Demand it.
Right after each other. Well, let's speak with Vanessa on the Den. I mean, she's got potential too. We got a lot of people that can help her out. We got the newcomer to the Den. James White is new to the Den, obviously, so that might be a nice slot that they can slate right in together, possibly.
Could be, yeah.
Of course, Saul is also a newcomer, but he's more IG, so I mean, that could be a good thing. Not to see. I'm hoping they're both looking to singles, though. I want to see some singles from them.
I want to see some singles from them too. I hope that's like kind of their focus this year. I think that'd be fun. But for teams, yeah, I could see her probably paired up with James.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if their strings would align too much. I mean, considering they're similar age. I think maybe, I don't know. I have no clue. I mean, but obviously when you pick like a 50-year-old versus a 20-year-old, the strengths and weaknesses are more likely to be different versus like some people that are like, if you put two people together in their 20s, they're probably going to watch similar movies. So I'm just basing it off. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe.
Fair enough. Well, we already just talked about a little bit. Let's just talk about Sabina Graves with as the new suspect as well, with Robert and everything else. We got a potential partner. Of course, that also makes things interesting because now Ethan Irwin has two former teammates in his league now in the faction. Ethan turned up with Sabina and Ethan turned up with Janine. I still think Ethan's going to go with Ghai. So I guess you could go with the ex-big timers and put Janine and Sabina together. But I don't know that I always thought that she was, Cameron Rice, that could be good. Can't speak for Vanessa right now. Okay. Oh, okay. Good. Thank you for the scoop, Robert. I appreciate the scoop. Robert is solely singles. Okay. That's good now.
Awesome. I'm excited for that.
I'm actually very excited about that, Robert. I got to tell you, Robert, I think that I've always liked seeing your matches. I think that you have a great killer instinct as well. You just have a lot of knowledge. And I think you in singles could be a surprise to a lot of people, I think. I'm banking on being a dark horse to be a big contender by the end of the year. So that would be great. But with Sabina, again, I think Sabina, we talked about her a little bit yesterday. I thought she didn't have a great record, but she's one of those people that if you watch the matches, she seemed pretty knowledgeable. So it's one of the things that sometimes the win-loss isn't quite what the picture is. So I'm interested to see what she can do.
Me too, especially with that group of people joining the suspects, with leadership and everything going on there. If I feel like that's very good for a player like that like their gameplay hasn't really maybe shown what they actually know. They just need that extra guidance. And she's going to get that with the suspects. And so we might see a whole new level of play from her, which would be awesome because she's great. I really like her.
I hope so too. I think she has a lot of untouched potential. I think it might take the right mentor or right partner, to really kind of bring it out. Because I don't know if we've seen it yet. We've always seen potential, but we haven't really seen the thing that really kind of makes her a standout yet. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see her kind of being pushed to the limit to see what we can do. She can do, I mean.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, let's move on. One person I'm actually very excited to see what happens with him is Swag's Sean Gerber.
Yeah, Sean
Gerber. Okay, I like this pick a lot. I talked about it yesterday. He's a beast in MCU. So he knows that he's probably he's got the MCU match again, exhibition wise, coming up soon probably. So we'll see him again in that. It gives Swag another potential IG player, especially for the tournament. So that was one of the ones we had. We're going to get into the tournaments afterwards. We'll get to that more afterwards, but we didn't know quite who's going to be the Swag IG players. I think it's got to be Gerber. I think that's one of the reasons they got him.
Yeah, I think that's one reason why he was picked. Is they Coy needed that spot filled. And I think Gerber's a great addition, especially for that tournament. So, yeah, I think that's definitely what's going to end up happening for sure.
Gerber, he's every match that I've seen him in, he always does really solid. He just happens to be up against competitors that are really awesome. Like he went against Bibbs at one point, like poor soul. And I know he mentioned during his during his chat earlier with Christian, he even mentioned, "Hey, I found out I was going to be involved in that IG match that day."
Yeah,
I didn't have time to prep. I would have totally been down for it even if I had a week or two.
Right.
I would have done a million times better. But yeah, I dig his enthusiasm. I know he's going to perform really well, and I think he'll do fantastic in IG, guaranteed.
I want to bring this up real quick. Robert also said he would be stoked to partner up with Janine and Sabina. That would be good too, Robert. I think that'd be cool. But going back to Gerber, I do think also that he has potential. He did show it in the free-for-all that he was in. He lasted for I think last 7 rounds or whatever. That's kind of a decent size.
That's
pretty
good.
It's not Bibiani. It's not Bibiani, but who is?
Let's face it,
nobody Bibiani in free-for-all.
But you know what? I'm gonna audible now. I was going to do him a little bit, but let's bring up a possible and potential partner for him. If we want to go into singles, would be the other newcomer, Frank Moran, who also had a very good showing in his one free-for-all appearance. Same free-for-all. He lasted, I think, 9 rounds or something like that. They were at the beginning together, and they lasted a lot together. So I think that I must think that he could have been picking them as a team, ready to put them together.
I could see that.
Either way, it's good to have a lot of potential different places that they could slide these characters at.
I think that's good decisions when you pick somebody who, for example, Gerber's that could possibly be in multiple different leagues. So that way, even if you don't use them all in the same league, same season, you can 100%. Next season you're gonna focus over here, and this season you're gonna focus over here. I think that's very strategic and a good idea. So
I am really curious to see how this will translate into next year. I honestly, my mindset going into next season was going to be they're probably going to be able to keep their champions, but that's it. Honestly, similar to but thing is, I don't know. I mean, this was our first draft, and they're still going to be so next season it's going to be their first draft, trying something new with all these factions. So I'm kind of see how that's going to translate. But I don't remember Moran at all. Honestly, from the free-for-all.
He was part of the new box office breakdown. He's actually with Brandon Hanna. Brandon Hanna was posted that he was very upset that he joined Swag. He's now a mortal enemy. Brandon Hanna's like mortal enemies of everybody.
That's accurate.
But that's
Who
accurate.
isn't his mortal enemy right now?
So yeah, he was with Amy Cassandra of Baby Box. So he had one. I think they had one match, and they did not win. But I think that kind of happens sometimes in the first match. I'm going to cut them some slack again. I'm basing it off the greatness that he had in that free-for-all. So I think he could show a lot of potential. So
also just want to let you guys know we did get a Streamlabs in the past week. So thank you so much. I put it in the chat. It is actually from a Mr. Weston Arrow.
Weston Arrow, okay, yeah.
So tell the everyone in the chat if you want to do the honors and read it.
Sure. I'm just waiting for The Undertaker or The Rock to show up and challenge Jericho. Either one of them being managed by Tom Stock would be legendary.
The Rock. Well, we already had the team at one point of The Rock and Kevin Hart at one point. Okay, Christian wanted to try to get that to work. That would be. I would love to see The Rock on. Undertaker would be awesome too, but he's not exactly a movie guy as far as I know. Who knows? But
The
yeah,
Rock
either
would
way.
be fun.
The Rock could be. Talk about promos. Talk about talk about like being able to school people on how to entertain.
Right.
That's probably the best
I
one.
just want to watch him. I just want to watch him talk. Can I just make that happen? I'll be like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Not that intensity and attitude.
Well, I think we've reached. We only have one more that we talk about as far as the draft itself goes. Before we can kind of maybe just pontificate a little bit about the tournaments coming up, we can talk about those. We have the guy from the fan leagues. We have a new fan league you're going to play, Mr. Adam Collins, joining Corruption.
Yes.
Corruption taking a page out of Kaiser's book, grabbing those rookies and seeing what we can do with that. I do think this is a good potential. I don't know much about the fan leagues, but I did a little bit of. I talked to a few people trying to figure out what he was, and they say he's pretty good. He's I guess maybe 7-2. You were saying, and
no,
leagues or something.
Well, no, it's like that was just an example, like a throwaway.
Oh, okay.
My point is, he's played in several different leagues, and he's played very consistently for the past year or so, year and a half, I want to say. And every time, because I'm a manager and I manage a handful of competitors. Every time, any of my competitors go up against him, he's really great. He's a really great guy. He's clearly very knowledgeable. He works very well on a team.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just very chill. Like he's kind of reminds me of Ethan Irwin, where he's just like, where nothing gets to him, but he does have that killer instinct. And he's just not going to tell you about it, if that makes sense.
That's that.
It's like, yeah.
I did notice he did say that he has a potential 4-way player. He's a general in teams, but he also has potential in IG. He played in Star Wars, and if he can really be someone who could be in all 4, that right there makes Corruption's potentially even greater. Because the more, like I said, like Halsey just said, the more different leagues you can be in, the more valuable you're going to be.
Yeah. Not to mention, Shannon's already has history of working with family players. Like she has one of the first family competitors on her team, Chance Ellison. Mm-hmm. And, she's the reason why they were able to kind of be able to become, team champions there for a bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if, she really molds him into her perfect multi-league player. If she ends up becoming the new Kalinowski, who knows?
All right. Well, so what do you guys think? Who won the free agent draft? Or not free agent draft, the signings. What was that?
Is there any way we can pull them up or anything?
The whole list, I don't think.
Yeah, look at everything at once.
I can try.
Overall, I still feel Koi just kind of won.
You said what?
Koi just kind of.
Koi won with that one. I can bring up my notes. Maybe it will help. I don't know if you can actually see it though. So let me see.
Okay. Yeah.
You try to make it full screen there. This is the 6, and then we have suspects down there. I'll get all my notes on the screen there.
If you're going, another person I would say is Sam with the usual suspects. I mean, he did have more slots to fill, but he filled them very well. And I definitely think he did a really great job filling those spots. So Kevin Smith aside for Koi, I think maybe the usual suspects for me would be who I think did a great job filling their spots.
That's the point I was going to make, Kelsey. I mean, usual suspects had 4 people to fill, so of course you have a lot more opportunity to win. They do, but they do get the Star Wars player they needed. They get a solid veteran in Robert Montana, a decent person who's played the game, Sabina Graves, and a personality like Doug Benson. It's like all 4 of the things you want.
Yes.
So Koi does a great job getting the celebrity Kevin Smith, and they'll get pairing him off. So that's a good one as well. I think everybody. If I had to declare a winner, though, how can you not say Roxy with Chris Jericho, though? But I'm gonna go with Koi. Koi or Roxy both have big time wins for me because they're both going to get their name out there more. It's going to get more eyes on them, which will get them more matches. I like that. I'm going to go Koi overall because he did add Paradigm Ruff as well because he had the 2 slots. But that would be why.
I'm going to go with Sam or Shannon.
Okay, Shannon.
I think Adam is low-key between him and Sean Gerber are low-key the smartest picks of the draft. Honestly,
Right.
it's awesome to have Jericho, Kevin Smith. I can't wait. But at the same time, Adam can potentially play in all 4 leagues.
Yeah, that's good.
And he is just like glue right now. He can go stick to whatever league, and he's going to stick, and he's going to do well.
Right.
But Sean Gerber, I think there's so much he can offer. Absolutely. It's between them two, honestly, personally.
All right. Well, we got a few minutes left, and we can kind of maybe update what we had talked about yesterday as far as the tourneys go coming up. The IG's a little more coming to focus now. As of now, we already have the announcements of Kemp and the Machine being the usual suspects, Parker and Zipper for the Dungeon, Warfather and Hannah for Droogs, Saul and Goddard for the Den, Kalinowski and Ellison for Corruption. Today, Roxy confirmed Damon and Hayborn to be on the roster. Hayborn. Hey, Jason Moore. I'm ready. Okay. So the only one we don't know officially yet, then the Mercs haven't announced it, Swag hasn't announced it, and the Exchange kind of has announced it. They did say the Barbarian at one point, and you gotta assume that Jacobson's going to be the other IG player.
I would think
that
so.
thing.
Yes.
So that's really not much to talk about. So there's big things to talk about with them, the Mercs and Swag. Let's start with the Mercs. We don't know anything. They didn't get anything IG-wise unless you count Kevin Smith. I mean, Kevin Smith's a big IG guy, but like I said before, I don't think they're going to use them in a tournament. I think there's going to be a big one-off kind of celebration or match with Jericho, potentially. But at the same time, it's not like you have to have Kevin Smith come to a studio.
Yeah, it's just string yard and stuff like that. It's easy. He could just block out an hour of his time. It's definitely, I think, more doable than usual for him to be in a tournament of IG right now than at any other time.
Wait,
So
Rick, I'm sorry. Rick, and it looks like Caven's not in the tournament. Maybe I misheard. I didn't get the chance to see the rundown. I asked somebody if everything was said. I know that Roxy had intimated that she wasn't going to be in the tourney on his stream. I thought that somebody else had said to me that on the rundown she had possibly changed her mind. Okay, well, we'll say Hayman's not in the tourney then. So we'll go back to that. We'll still continue on, talk about the Mercs, then we'll go back to Roxy's squad then.
Yeah, so I really am up in the air about whether he would be in or not. It's definitely, I think, extremely fairly easy to get him in, just the way things are right now, things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like that's where you introduce him on the showdown. I don't feel like that's where we want to see him for the first time.
It could be either or. And the argument to that would be the fact that he hit the drop, he hit the big news that he's in the league. You don't want to wait and let it fizzle out. Hit while the iron is hot. Get him in there right away. So it's potentially there. Maybe that's why the Mercs didn't announce their players yet.
That could be true. Yeah.
So it could be there. I mean, otherwise, you got either Brendan Meyer, Humphrey, Bibbs. I mean, you're not having Knopek, as far as I know, because of the injury, the illness situation, or whatever, that she's not playing. So what else do they have?
My money's on Perry or even
Perry and IG.
I can see Perry and IG.
Easily see it because she's really into knit. She loves the Lord of the Rings franchise. She's really big into comic book movie. She was a panelist at a handful of at comic book movie panels at like Comic-Con, things like that. So I really wouldn't be surprised if that's something she went into. Same for, honestly, Greg Alba or John Humphrey. John Humphrey, my dude.
He's a potential.
Cannot sleep on him. John Humphrey has so much untapped potential. We need to give him more attention, that's for sure.
I obviously think that's potential. The only reason I would say Meyer and Bibbs is they're both so well versed and well knowledge. It is. I could see them pulling like a chance and Mike Kalinowski saying like, we're the number 1-2 draft. We're just going to put you on our backs. And since our main IG person is out of whack right now, since we can't use Mara, we're going to take on the load and go for it.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes
Do that.
So it's not. Thank you, Tim. That's one down. It's not going to be Tim Franco. Okay, but he does say maybe Alva as well. That could be. It could be. I would be surprised. I would be surprised if at least one of Shazam is in it. That'd be my dark horse pick.
Brendan Meyer, really?
Brendan or Bibbs. I could see that happening. I really could see that happening. I don't know anything about that, but otherwise, unless they do the Smith angle, that's the big thing. Is it or is it not going to be Kevin Smith?
Yeah.
I see both sides.
I see both sides as well.
But you want to save it for the big event too. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just because if you want Kevin Smith to be involved in Schmodown for more than a single match, if you put him in IG, he might get kicked out really quick.
Could be. Yeah, you never know.
So, I mean, but that being said, he might win. So, I mean, it's just Smoja on IG is just crazy competitive. More than ever.
I had to predict it's not Kevin Smith is not in the tournament. That's my prediction. But
yeah,
if it happens, I wouldn't be completely super shocked. So. All right, let me go back to my blunder. I'm sorry, I did a blunder that. Like I said, I heard Roxy's streamer earlier that she was asked about Jared Havon and he went on backstage and said he didn't want to study. He is not a studier. And she said that she wasn't going to drop him because he is a very big rah-rah person, very big locker room person, very big pro rock stars. And that's why she kept in the league, because it's important to her to have that. And I get that. It's good for her to have that. But she intimated at that point, she said that, but if you're not going to study, I can't use you as much play-wise, and that the tournament would indicate that. I had missed the rundown a little bit because I had to run out with my son to get his computer. So I could ask somebody, and somebody seemed to think that he had heard that he was going to be on anyway, which kind of confused me. I went with it. I'm bad. But it makes sense now that Havon's not in it. So if Havon is not going to be in the IG, that opens up another spot. We got Alex Damon, who's going to be in the IG. And he can't be Adam Gertler, because she actually made mention of that specifically, that I guess he opened a restaurant or something right before the coronavirus struck, and he's been really busy with his restaurant. He's not even on DC Movie News, so he can't be counted on at this point to do much of anything. He was actually considering dropping him if Sabrina had agreed to go on the show, to go on the Rockstars, that he would have been dropped. That's what Roxy had said.
Interesting.
But because she had Chris Jericho as a possibility, but she would have taken on Sabrina that way. The other potentials, Jeff Snyder's going to be an IG.
That ain't happening.
I would love it though.
Watch. That's what it'll be. This will be like a big twist, and it'll be like, and
wouldn't that be
all storyline?
I think Smith would
plotted together and be like, yeah, so what you can do, you're going to post on Facebook.
I think
you're going to post and you're going to talk to Drew Grant on her show about really trash IG, trash it a lot. That's what it feels like sometimes. But I really love Jeff Snyder. I really want to see more of him. It would be a shame if we didn't see much more of him.
Right.
So.
I mean, we will. He's a character.
Absolutely.
He definitely brings the noise, and a lot of people don't like him for his antics, but that's kind of that's just him. It's entertaining. I don't take him that seriously, to be honest. It's just fun. But yeah, so he's not going to be the IG. I don't think you're going to put Endrake on the IG. I don't think so.
He's a comic book writer.
No, he is, but I kind of got the feeling he didn't want to be in that. Like, he was contrary to singles and teams. Okay. This is just instinctual. I mean, I don't think he probably could do well in it, but I got the sense he's never played an IG, and I think there's a reason why. He has never wanted to go that route. That's my gut feeling. I could be wrong. You're not getting Stacey Howard in there. Stacey Howard's definitely not an IG player. So that basically leaves David Del Rio, Jim. I could never say his name right. Jim Vejvoda, and that's really it. It's those two, because I'm not going to put Josh Cavedo in there either. I don't think, because he's doing Star Wars. Maybe you do both. I don't know. I don't know enough about him. So
the chat is saying Jericho because he's an IG guy.
I don't see Jericho in the tournament.
Same playing as the Kevin Smith argument. It's, are you going to use him the first time in the tournament, or are you saving him for live event? It's just whatever they decide to do with that. So.
And Chris is saying he does think Andreyko. I mean, I guess Andreyko could do it. I will take it back in that it seems like we're not having singles or teams anytime in the near future, so maybe it would be a surprise. Rashi did say it would be a surprise. Okay.
Well, just because just because you're good at comic book movies doesn't mean you have the energy, excitement, and the drive to be an ace at all the IG categories. To be not only at comic book movies, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, all that, everything. And you have to watch movies you really don't want to watch sometimes. I mean, Daredevil, Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Does Marco have time for that? I don't know if he wants to have time for that. At least that's what I thought.
Well, I mean, also, you think about Andreyko, also, he has no Star Wars knowledge at all. I mean, I know it's not Star Wars League, but Star Wars is in the IG. So how much does he have? He has some comic books, but maybe some of the other stuff is not strong enough. And maybe in this league with the IG, that really doesn't cut it. You have to have the knowledge of pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So what do you guys think it's going to be? Who do you think it's going to be? Do you think Alex Damon? But out of everybody else, who do you think it's going to be? The third or the second person?
I think it's going to be Endrako.
You think it's gonna be Andreyko? Okay.
That's who I think it's gonna be.
My gut's telling me David Del Rio.
David Del Rio. That's another slot. That's another we didn't talk about him. And that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna all three of us are gonna have different people because I'm gonna go with Vejvoda. I think Jim Vejvoda is gonna be the guy. He's got a lot of strong knowledge that I've seen.
I don't know enough about him, but I would love to see him do more.
That would be an interesting pick. So I don't think Jericho for the same reason I say Kevin Smith. So I'm going to say that I'm going to stick away from that at this point. But again, drop it while it's hot. Get in there and go. But my gut says no. So, all right. Last part we have in the IG tournament is swag. Now, swag initially we didn't know. Gerber, we think I think Gerber.
I think Gerber too. I think
there was a
for
pick
sure.
for that reason.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah.
I do think so. Then the other person I think would have to be Halavic, right? He's an IG player.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's definitely who's going to be. I will be surprised if it's not.
The other potential issue was Oyama was mentioned. Oyama had an IG match coming up, and does Swag want to bank on Oyama having again one of those moments where you want to take somebody on your take somebody on your back and move it, but move the team. But I'm going to think you're not going to have Oyama. I think it's going to be Halavic and Gerber. That's my prediction. So.
That's mine too.
Okay.
I think maybe the idea it was Oyama before they were able to add Gerber on, but now they know for sure they have him. I think that's not going to happen anymore. I think it's going to be the two.
Sounds good. Okay. We got one last thing we'll talk about real quick before we go on. We're going to have the Star Wars tourney. We did confirm it is going to be 9 players. It's an 8-man tourney, so 1 play-in match. This seems pretty easy to me, except for the only thing we have left is Swag. Swag is the only questionable mark. Right? The Drugs have Kevin Knapsack, the Den have Sean Sullivan, the Dungeon has Adam Witt, the Exchange have DeMolanta, Corruption has Laura Kelly, the Quirky Mercs have Joseph Scrimshaw, the Rockstars traded for Josh Cavedo to be in Star Wars. That's about as locked as you can get. The Suspects signed Molly Damon. She's going to be an attorney, official attorney. So the only one we left is Swag. Now I'm going to have we're going to go to see Ace on Chill in a little bit now, about an hour or so. So I will ask him about that specifically. But I remember hearing something that Ace didn't want to do the Star Wars League. So I don't know about that.
Interesting. Or maybe Frank Moran?
In Star Wars, that's potential. That's what I'm saying. My initial thought was Ace, but without it being Ace, maybe it is Frank Moran. I don't know what his Star Wars knowledge is.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
At this point, I don't know if Sean Gerber has Star Wars knowledge. Could Sean Gerber be doing double duty?
Possibly.
Yeah, I can totally picture that. If given
right now, it's those 3. To me, it's those 3. I still think Ace has potential, even though I heard that he didn't want to, so we don't know. It can't be Chandra at Star Wars.
He's not a champion in Star Wars.
That's what I didn't think about. I didn't think I knew he was out of the IG tournament because he can't be in the IG tournament. But he does know Star Wars. That's actually not a bad choice. It makes me wonder. That makes me wonder I'm not wrong.
What's harder, IG or Star Wars? No, just please don't answer that. That's really horrible.
We're going
to have a 2-hour debate.
Ron knows all Star Wars. He'll just jump in there. I'll jump in there for that matter. Okay. Well, I guess the other last part of it, as we say, is no matter who it is, I gotta guess that they're going to be the one in the play-in. The 2 play-ins have got to be the Swag people, and I think that Cavedo from the Rockstars is going to be the other play-in because they're the only out of everybody that I've mentioned. If that is the list, Josh and whoever Swag gets will be the only one who has never played a Star Wars match. They've all played a Star Wars match. They've all at least 1 matches, or in Molly's case, she almost lost to the champion. That was it. So I do think that that's got to be the play-in. Don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be the people who haven't played in it before, for sure. So Makes sense.
All right, let's go back then. Who are we picking for Swag? What's your prediction right now? Who's going to be the Star Wars person for Swag?
I'm going to go with Chandru. I could see that happening. I feel like he's eager to play. I think he would love to. I don't know if I've heard him say this or not, but I could see him wanting to dabble in other leagues and stuff too, because he's such, so into the game and loves playing so much. So I'm going to say Chandru.
Okay. I want to say Ace or Chandru. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm just reaffirming everything Kelsey's saying.
I was asking, I was hoping you guys were going to talk longer because I wanted longer to figure out my choice. But I think I know. I did think it was going to be Sean, but then when Zeke brought up Chandru, that's niggling at me now. I think that could be the choice if depending on how confident he feels.
Mhm.
I think I might go with Chandru. Let him play. He's been very damn good at IG.
Mhm.
If Alex can go from Star Wars to IG, maybe he can go from IG to Star Wars. So I'm
Mhm.
going to go Chandru. I'm going to say that's the idea. He's going to go Chandru. So Chandru will be a Star Wars player. He'd be in the play. Oh yeah, he's still be in the play-in because he's still a rookie in Star Wars League.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's where we'll go.
Yep.
Anything else? Any other Streamlabs questions or anything like that? Go out there.
I will double check Streamlabs real quickly. If you do have any questions or anything along those lines, please, feel free to ask us through Streamlabs or Super Chat. I'll be more than happy to answer right now. You can do it. Just check it in right there. That'd be pretty darn cool.
One thing I do want to mention now that we're done with the special for the most part, I'm very interested to see if anything's going to come out about like the stories behind the scenes that we don't know about. There are a couple of things that have been mentioned, like for example on Roxy's stream, Sabrina mentioned how one of the came out to be Ben Bateman. They eventually admitted it. That he called her up during this whole thing and like randomly quizzed her on like one of the hardest wheels that are on the Schmodown. And
Probably movies.
Maybe I don't know exactly what it was, but so that's the kind of thing I like to hear about. Ben talked to her. I know the Barbarian talked to her. She talked to everybody on the Fit Stock Exchange pretty much. There's a lot of talk. Roxy talked about reaching out to Molly. Christian went on the show today on his own special, and said that he thought Frank Moran was going to Kaiser until Frank Moran came out and said, "I'm going to Swag." Mm-hmm. He was under the impression that he was going to Kaiser. So all this stuff, I was like, well, what else happened by the scenes that we don't know about yet? Again, are we going to find it out? Because that always interests me to see what the hell happened. So.
Yes. I love those behind the scenes questions. I'm not going to lie. They're so much fun. Not to mention, it's kind of cool. We are in such a tight-knit community, and, a lot of us are like really genuine friends, or at least I like to think so. And it's, when we hang out and go to live events and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice.
That's true.
Trades absolutely still can happen, and there's going to be matches in the meantime. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of mentoring. I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Backstage should be a blast tomorrow now. I can tell you, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are going to be on, but I think you can see a bunch of different people signing on, at least in the chat, if nothing else. I love watching the chat in Backstage. You have Tibbs drop in, you'll have Shannon drop in.
The chat is almost mostly pros compared to viewers. I swear sometimes there's so many people in there.
Right? So, all right. I guess we'll wrap it up then, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to double check. Yes.
All right. Well, then, thank you guys for showing up for this 1 hour plus special that we had. Came in really quickly. We decided we had to do it, though. So thank you for making it a great one for us. I had a great time with this. I love talking all this strategies and what's going down. Kelsey, where can the kids find you, Kelsey?
All right, you can find me at KelseyKids90 on Twitter and Instagram. Also, run the Call to Action Podcast Instagram, so you can interact with me there. TeePublic, we've got merch. There's a sale coming up next week, so if you want Schmodown merch or Call to Action merch, then's the time to do it. And if you're interested in Harley Quinn, comic book movies, video games, things like that, I have my own channel. It's also where Ladies Night will be moving part of the time as well. So if you like C2A Ladies Night, please subscribe to my channel. Just search Kelsey Kirkland and click on my face, and please subscribe. And you will also see me in the chat in about an hour for Chill, because I get to be a creepy lurker on that show, and it's a lot of fun for me.
Just want to say real quick, Josh, I love you too.
Do you? Do you?
I'm gonna give him a full frontal hug when I see him. That guy.
Full frontal.
I love this guy. I mean, let's be honest, guys.
All right, Alice, where can the kids find you?
You can follow me on Twitter right here. And this week, we're going to be actually having an Action Army Civil War between two Action Army generals in on Schmo-Base with Danielle Ramirez. It's going to be so much fun up against Brandon Buckingham. So it's going to be so much fun. They're going to really argue a lot of questions regarding the Action Army and Team Action overall. So it's going to be all out of bag of chips. Like I mentioned, you can follow me on Twitter as well right here. But yeah, follow us on general on Twitter, the Call to Action Pod. That's where I run that one. Kelsey runs IG. I run the Twitter one. So we like to teamwork it together.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly.
Yeah, it does.
You can find me at Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. You can find me on Chill to Action in about an hour, where Kelsey will be lurking and me and Danielle will be interviewing Ace. We'll definitely be talking about the signings today, Swag's role in the tourneys, and everything Star Wars, and also Game of Thrones, because we all love Game of Thrones as well. In Schmodown, out of Schmodown. Should be a lot of fun. You can also find me on Class Action on the Action Industries YouTube channel. You can go back yesterday. We had an episode with Mark O'Reilly where we discussed the Superman franchises. That was a great episode. That was a lot of fun.
Such a good episode.
Thank you, Kels. Thank you. And finally, also, I opened up my own YouTube channel, PLD Projects. Coming up with some stuff on there, show about V. And also, I'm going to be doing the Harris Stunts, going through all of Ed Harris's movies because we love Ed Harris. At least I do. So
What? You do? What?
it is what it is.
Shock.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. I love you all. And I will hopefully see you all in about an hour. Until then, we salute you guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Coming.